Hey Bougie, click. Are you in a relationship with a narcissist? Does your partner lack empathy? Do they tend to be emotionally unavailable and not show concern for your needs or feelings? Are they very manipulative, using guilt, charm, or even aggression to get what they want? Is your relationship a constant cycle of highs and lows, making it difficult to leave? Do you feel torn between the love you have for them and the pain they cause? If you answered yes to more than one of these questions, you might be in a relationship with a narcissist. Ballerina Farms, Fairytale, or narcissistic abuse nightmare? I want to start this video with a disclaimer. I do not know these people personally, and this is only my opinion. However, before I give my opinion, let's start with the facts. Hannah Neeleman, known for her popular social media presence as Ballerina Farm, shares her life with her husband, Daniel Neeleman, and their 8 children on a farm in Utah. Both Hannah and Daniel are practicing members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS, commonly known as Mormons. Marriage and family life. Hannah and Daniel met while she was studying at Juilliard and working as a professional ballet dancer in New York City. They married in 2011, just 3 months after meeting, and quickly started their family. Their children range in age from 12 years old to 6 months. Life on the farm. The couple's journey to farming began after they moved to Brazil for Daniel's work. They fell in love with the countryside and decided to pursue farming when they returned to the U.S. They now run a 328-acre ranch in Kamas, Utah, where they raise their children and share their experiences through social media. Recent controversy. Recently, Hannah faced backlash following a profile in the Times of London, which she felt misrepresented her family and marriage. She defended her lifestyle and relationship, emphasizing that she and Daniel are co-parents and co-CEOs of their farm, and that she is not oppressed. Faith and values. Hannah and Daniel's faith plays a significant role in their lives. They often speak about how their decisions, including family planning, are guided by prayer and their religious beliefs. This aspect of their life is integral to their identity and how they manage their family and farm. Hannah Neeleman met her husband, Daniel Neeleman, in a rather unique and memorable way. Here's a detailed look at their story. Initial meeting. Hannah and Daniel first met at a college basketball game in Utah. They were introduced by mutual friends. At the time, Hannah was studying ballet at Juilliard in New York City. First date. Despite their initial meeting, it took 6 months for Daniel to convince Hannah to go on a date with him. Their first date was quite unconventional. It took place on a JetBlue flight from Salt Lake City to New York. Daniel, whose father is the founder of JetBlue, arranged for them to be seated together on the flight. Quick engagement. After their first date, Daniel was very determined to move their relationship forward quickly. He proposed marriage, and despite Hannah's initial hesitation, they got engaged and married within 3 months. Daniel Neeleman gave Hannah an ultimatum regarding their relationship. After their initial meeting and first date, Hannah wanted to continue dating for a year to finish her training at Juilliard. However, Daniel insisted that they needed to get married right away, saying, "It's not going to work, we've got to get married now." This urgency led to their quick engagement and marriage within 3 months. Hannah Neeleman married Daniel Neeleman on July 28, 2011. Their first child, Henry. Marriage and family. They were married in the Manti Temple in Utah. The couple has since built a life together on their farm, known as Ballerina Farm, where they raise their 8 children. Hannah gave up her ballet career to focus on her family and farm life, while Daniel also made sacrifices in his career ambitions to support their family. Hannah Neeleman and her husband, Daniel, have 8 children. Here are their birth years. Henry, 2012. Charles, 2014. George, 2015. Francis, 2017. Lois, 2019. Martha, 2021. Mabel, 2022. Flora, January 2024. Having multiple children in quick succession can pose certain risks to both the mother and the baby. Here are some potential concerns. Maternal depletion syndrome. This occurs when a woman's body doesn't have enough time to recover between pregnancies, leading to deficiencies in essential nutrients like iron, folate, and calcium. Preterm birth. Women with closely spaced pregnancies are at a higher risk of delivering prematurely, which can lead to complications for the baby, such as respiratory problems and developmental delays. Increased risk of complications. There can be a higher likelihood of complications such as gestational diabetes, high blood pressure, and placental issues. Physical and emotional strain. The physical demands of pregnancy and childbirth, combined with the emotional and logistical challenges of caring for multiple young children, can be overwhelming. It's generally recommended to allow at least 18 months between pregnancies to reduce these risks. Some people believe that Hannah Neeleman is being controlled and abused due to several factors highlighted in recent discussions and media coverage. Traditional gender roles. Hannah's lifestyle, often labeled as that of a trad wife, involves adhering to very traditional gender roles. She left her promising ballet career to become a full-time wife and mother, which some view as a sign of coercion or control. Quick engagement and marriage. The rapid progression of her relationship with Daniel, including his insistence on getting married quickly, has raised concerns about whether she had enough time to make an independent decision. Public perception and media coverage. Articles and interviews, such as the one published by The Times, have brought attention to the sacrifices Hannah has made and the pressures she faces. For example, she mentioned in a hushed tone that she had an epidural during childbirth when Daniel was not present, which some interpret as a sign of her needing to hide certain decisions from him. Social media. Hannah's portrayal of an idyllic, family-centric life on social media contrasts with the behind-the-scenes challenges and sacrifices she has mentioned in interviews. This discrepancy has led some to question the authenticity of her public image and whether she is under pressure to maintain it. Hannah Neeleman has shared that she sometimes becomes so ill from exhaustion that she can't get out of bed for a week. This intense level of physical and emotional labor is part of her daily life as she manages her family, farm, and business. The demands of raising 8 children, running Ballerina farm, and maintaining her social media presence can be overwhelming, leading to periods of severe exhaustion. This has raised concerns among some observers about the pressures she faces and whether she is receiving adequate support. Despite these challenges, Hannah has publicly defended her lifestyle, emphasizing that she and Daniel are equal partners and that she loves her role as a mother, wife, and businesswoman. She has also expressed disappointment with media portrayals that suggest she is oppressed or controlled, stating that these narratives do not reflect her reality. Looking at these facts, I personally believe she is in a relationship with a narcissist. She is being abused, controlled, and oppressed, but I do not believe she is fully aware. Because of the initial charm and love bombing, she may be confused and believes she is to blame for the way he has changed. At the beginning of the relationship, they may shower you with affection and make you feel incredibly special. However, this charm often fades, revealing their true, more self-centered nature. Love bombing is a manipulative tactic often used in relationships to gain control over someone through excessive displays of affection and attention. The person may shower you with compliments, gifts, and constant messages, making you feel incredibly special and adored. The relationship progresses very quickly, with declarations of love and future plans coming much sooner than usual. The love bomber may try to isolate you from friends and family, making you more dependent on them for emotional support. Once they have your trust, the love bomber may start to control and manipulate you, using the initial affection to keep you hooked. When money comes into play, and you are living a better life than most women in the world, that also makes things confusing. Because a narcissist will never let you forget how much they have done for you and how good you have it. Narcissists are incapable of truly loving you for who you really are. When narcissists say, "I love you," what they mean is, "I love my fantasies about you." Once the thrill of the courtship is over, a narcissist will find fault and want you to change. If you stay in the relationship, you will be emotionally and/or physically abandoned, confused, exhausted, and heartbroken. I also do not think her husband is very attractive, and without the money he probably could not get a woman of her caliber, but again, this is just my opinion. Even though now she is calling the article in question an attack on her family, I believe it was a cry for help. How could she not be aware of how their life would be perceived, especially with some of the questionable answers she gave? Like saying that she sometimes becomes so ill from exhaustion that she can't get out of bed for a week, or that the only time she had an epidural during childbirth was when her husband was not present. Oppression in a relationship can manifest in various ways, regardless of wealth. Here are some signs that a man, including a wealthy one, might be oppressing his wife. Control over finances. He might restrict her access to money, monitor her spending, or make her feel guilty for spending on herself. Isolation. He may limit her interactions with friends and family, making her feel isolated and dependent on him. Emotional manipulation. This includes belittling her, making her feel worthless, or using guilt and fear to control her actions. Decision-making. He might make all the major decisions without consulting her, disregarding her opinions and preferences. Monitoring and surveillance. Constantly checking her phone, emails, or whereabouts to keep tabs on her activities. Threats and intimidation. Using threats of harm, divorce, or taking away children to maintain control. Physical abuse. Any form of physical violence or threats of violence. Gaslighting. Making her doubt her own perceptions and reality, often leading her to question her sanity. These behaviors can be subtle or overt, but they all contribute to an oppressive environment. If you or someone you know is experiencing these signs, it might be helpful to seek support from trusted friends, family, or professional resources. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can be incredibly challenging and emotionally draining. Here are some common experiences people report. Constant self-centeredness. Narcissists often dominate conversations, making everything about themselves. They may interrupt you frequently and show little genuine interest in your thoughts or feelings. Lack of empathy. They tend to be emotionally unavailable and may not show concern for your needs or feelings. This can leave you feeling ignored and unimportant. Manipulation and control. Narcissists can be very manipulative, using guilt, charm, or even aggression to get what they want. They might violate social norms and rules to assert their superiority. Initial charm. At the beginning of the relationship, they may shower you with affection and make you feel incredibly special. However, this charm often fades, revealing their true, more self-centered nature. Criticism and evaluation. Over time, they may start to criticize you, compare you to others, and make you feel inadequate. This can severely impact your self-esteem and confidence. Emotional roller coaster. The relationship can be a constant cycle of highs and lows, making it difficult to leave. You might feel torn between the love you have for them and the pain they cause. Narcissists often move quickly in relationships for several reasons. Love bombing. They shower their partner with excessive attention, affection, and gifts early on to create a strong emotional bond and gain control. Need for validation. Narcissists crave constant admiration and validation. Moving fast helps them secure a source of narcissistic supply quickly. Superficial relationships. They tend to view relationships as means to an end rather than deep emotional connections. This makes it easier for them to rush into new relationships without genuine attachment. Avoiding vulnerability. By moving fast, they can avoid deeper emotional intimacy and vulnerability, which they often find uncomfortable. Control and manipulation. Rapid progression in a relationship can make it easier for them to manipulate and control their partner before the partner has a chance to see their true nature. These behaviors are often driven by underlying insecurities and a need to maintain a facade of superiority and control. Then there is their religion. I personally have not heard great things about this religion. A lot of former Mormons, especially women, describe it as cult-like. They frequently mention the strict gender roles promoted by the church, which emphasize motherhood and homemaking for women. Some women feel these roles limited their personal and professional growth. The church also has a strong emphasis on modesty, chastity, and obedience. This can create pressure and feelings of inadequacy for some women. Here are some more reasons former Mormon women describe their experiences as being cult-like. Strict control and isolation. Many former members, especially those from fundamentalist groups like the FLDS, report experiencing strict control over their daily lives, including what they wear, who they marry, and how they interact with the outside world. This level of control can create a sense of isolation and dependency on the group. Gender roles and expectations. Women in some Mormon communities, particularly in fundamentalist sects, are often expected to adhere to very traditional and restrictive gender roles. This can include being subservient to male authority figures and having limited opportunities for education and personal growth. Psychological manipulation. Some former members describe experiencing psychological manipulation, including fear-based teachings and the use of guilt and shame to control behavior. This can make it difficult for individuals to question or leave the group. Abuse and exploitation. There have been reports of abuse and exploitation within certain Mormon groups. For example, Warren Jeffs, the leader of the FLDS, was convicted of child sexual assault and other crimes. Such abuses contribute to the perception of these groups as cults. Difficulty leaving. Leaving the group can be extremely challenging. Former members often face ostracism from their families and communities, making the transition to life outside the group very difficult. Temple ceremonies. The rituals performed in Mormon temples are often cited as cult-like. These include the endowment ceremony, which involves secret handshakes, oaths, and wearing special garments, often referred to as magic underwear. The secrecy and the requirement to never discuss these ceremonies outside the temple contribute to this perception. Strict modesty and behavior codes. Women are expected to adhere to strict modesty standards, including specific dress codes. They are also taught to avoid passionate kissing and to remain sexually pure until marriage. Gender roles and patriarchy. The church teaches that men hold the priesthood and are the spiritual leaders of the family, while women are primarily responsible for homemaking and child-rearing. This patriarchal structure can make women feel subordinate and controlled. Missionary work. Young men are expected to serve 2-year missions, and while it is not compulsory for women, those who do serve often face intense pressure and strict rules. Baptism for the dead. Members perform proxy baptisms for deceased individuals, which some find unsettling and cult-like. Isolation and control. Former members often describe feeling isolated from the outside world and controlled by the church's teachings and community expectations. While I can't be sure of what is going on in these people's marriage, because of my own experiences, I do notice some red flags. Narcissistic abuse is sometimes hard to spot because narcissists are pros at hiding who they are in front of others. The victims usually hid their abuse out of shame and embarrassment, and that allows the abuser to continue the abuse in secret. Then when you finally do speak out, you aren't believed because of the facade you helped them keep up. If you or anyone you know is suffering from narcissistic abuse, get help immediately. Do not believe that an abuser will change on their own, because they will not. What do you think? Is Hannah living a fairy tale or a narcissistic abuse nightmare? Let me know in the comment section. Stay bougie.